Hello, and welcome to my 5-minute Suguru Geto Curse Manipulator deck breakdown. This card is a proxy altart version of Lin, Cheerful Tormentor that I made using Card Conjurer. For folks that haven't watched the anime Jujutsu Kaisen, this is Suguru Geto. Geto was a special grade sorcerer from Tokyo Jujutsu High, close friends and rival of the limitless Satoru Gojo. Along with Gojo, he was considered to be one of the 4 special grade sorcerers deemed to be a danger to humanity. Geto's main abilities revolve around cursed spirit manipulation. Cursed spirits are beings that have been created as a result of negative human emotions. They exist in dark alleyways and in the recesses of society, ready to claim their next victim. Geto can transform cursed spirits into black orbs, which you can ingest in order to call on their powers later. If the difference in Geto's grade and the cursed spirit is 2 levels or more, he can instantly absorb the cursed spirit with no difficulty. This curse technique and the plethora of cursed spirits Geto has stockpiled inside him allowed him a wide range of options on how to approach a fight. Thanks to Reddit user individual turn 7950, I can show the different types of cursed spirits Geto summoned over the course of the Jujutsu Kaisen prequel in his fights. These range from small spirits that Geto could fire like bullets at his opponents, mobility curses that he used to traverse the battlefield, and powerful near special grade monstrosities that can wipe out any foe. Before he had his fatal duel with Yuta, Geto had collected around 6,462 cursed spirits, most of which were grade level 2 or lower. Geto met his end after the duel with Yuta, but his story didn't end there. We'll continue his journey later on in the video, but first the card breakdown. In order to capture the full power of Suguru Geto, we need cards that can closely resemble curses in Jujutsu Kaisen. We need to showcase how he'd be manipulating curses using his technique in the show, and we would want it to be in colors that exemplify death and despair. The card I'm using to represent Geto is Lin, Cheerful Tormentor. Lin is a 4-mana Grixis human warlock that reads, Death Touch. Whenever a curse is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return it to the battlefield attached to you at the beginning of the next end step. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may attach a curse attached to you to one of your opponents. If you do, draw 2 cards. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That was a huge word salad. Eat your heart out, Yu-Gi-Oh players. Magic cards are pretty complicated too. Let's break down this ability into 3 sections. First, what is a curse in Magic the Gathering? Curses are a series of aura enchantments that have the ability to inflict negative game states on a target player. There are 13 curses in my deck, and these states range from turning target player into a treasure-giving piñata to more deadly effects like, say, giving all of the player's opponents trample on attack. You might have noticed that 10 of the 13 curses in this deck are lower than 4 mana. This is a direct reference to how Suguru Geto's ability in the show works, where he can instantly dominate lower-ranking curse spirits inside his body. Second, we'll be focusing on this second part of the effect before going to the first effect. I know it's confusing, but let me cook. This effect reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, you can attach a curse attached to you to one of your opponents in order to draw 2 cards. In the early game, we won't be able to easily get the first condition of Geto going, so when we started the game, we'll be cursing ourselves with low mana curses. This will give us insane card advantage over our opponents, and the lower value curses usually don't have game ending effects. So while my opponents are playing mana rocks and putting down lands, I'll be intentionally cursing myself with curses like Shaken Faith, Disturbance, or Opulence. In order to ensure I don't die turn 3 to a psycho, cheap removal like Final Vengeance, Nowhere to Run, and Geistlight Snare can stop some immediate aggro plays. Alternatively, getting lucky and mulliganing a crawl space can prevent a wide board from ending my run. Now let's say we get past the early game with Geto. In the mid game, our plan is to trigger the second ability as often as possible. Whenever a curse is put into a graveyard, I can return it to the battlefield attached to me on my next end step. Mid game, we will have enough mana to play a 1-3 mana curse on myself, then after passing to my opponent, immediately send it to the graveyard using these cheap permanent sacrificing artifacts. Claws of Gix is perfect for this deck. It's 0 mana to cast and allows us to send all of our curses to the graveyard, ready to attach to myself on the next upkeep. Allowing us to gain a little bit of life is a great kicker as well. So how do we win with this strat? Grim Guardian is a 3 mana enchantment creature zombie with an effect that reads, whenever Grim Guardian or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. With the aforementioned cards like Curse of Gix, Infernal Tribute, or Staff of Completion, we can loop our curse ETBs on every upkeep, leading to strong damage on each opponent on every end step. A powerful late game curse finisher, Demon of Fate's Design, is a 6 mana demon with flying and trample. It allows me to cast enchantments by paying life instead of mana value, but the stronger effect, for 3 mana I can give this demon +X+0 equal to the sacrifice enchantment's mana value. Finally, since Geto's ability gives me 2 cards when reattaching curses to opponents, with hand limit disablers, I'm gonna have a pretty huge hand. How about we attach Nerd Rage to my demon, an enchantment that gives my demon +10/+10 whenever this creature attacks if I have 10 or more cards in hand. What about Commencing the Endgame, a 6 mana blue instant that amasses X equal to the number of cards in my hand? So that was the game plan for Suguru Geto, but you might have noticed something odd about my deck breakdown. Hey, you didn't cover any creatures! Well, before I do that, let's go back to that alleyway where Geto succumbed to his wounds. Wait, what's this? Who are you? Kenjaku, Immortal Mastermind, is a 6-mana legendary spirit. When Kenjaku enters, you may search your library for any number of spirit cards, put them in your graveyard, and then shuffle. For Geto, I wanted to cover his experience in the Jujutsu Kaisen prequel, someone who was driven insane by his curse technique, requiring him to consume disgusting curses in order to use them in battle. But curses are more than just a culmination of negative human emotion. They have deep ties to Japanese mythology and yokais, supernatural monsters in Japan's folklore. Remember that montage of curses from JJK0 that I showed you earlier in the video? Here's my best attempt to find those cards in Magic the Gathering. The secondary play pattern of our deck revolves around using cursed spirits offensively in battle. Kenjaku's ability allows us to mill our entire deck of every single one of our 15 spirits when he enters. A 6-mana mono black spirit seems like a tall order to summon, but mono black has several ways to dump a card from your deck into your graveyard, ready to monster reborn. We want to make sure we don't have Kenjaku in our opening hand, and then use these entombed tutor effects to send him to our graveyard. Once Kenjaku lands in our graveyard, by turn 3 or 4, we can use cards like Animate Dead, Apprentice Necromancer, or Alter a Ball to recur him onto the field. Milling every spirit out of our deck accomplishes 2 things. It allows us to draw curses, ramp rocks, and lands easier for Suguru Geto to set up, giving us a smoother early game. But the real win con is Maximum Uzumaki, Geto Kenjaku's ultimate move, which summons all of the thousands of spirits in their body at the opponent as one single mass. Patriarch's Bidding is a 5-mana black sorcery which reads, each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of a type chosen this way from their graveyard to the battlefield. If this spell comes out uninterrupted, which we can ensure with Snare or Ice Out, this will potentially bring out all 14 spirits from my deck at my opponent. This is devastating, as spirits are creature types that are flying, unblockable, can discard cards in my opponent's hands, and have powerful enter the battlefield effects. If we're low on life, Devouring Greed is Maximum Uzumaki, sacrificing all of our spirits into a giant life drain spell that can steal the essence from my opponent. But let's say there's still an opponent left after our night parade of 100 demons. They cast Wrath of God on our board. First, rude. Second, let's sacrifice all creatures on the field and then put all of our spirits back on the field for round 2. So, do you think this deck captured the essence of Suguru Geto Curse Manipulator? Are there any cards you think would be better suited to make this deck work more effectively? Let me know. Also, thank you for watching this video. I'm done with all the JJK characters in my head, but I'll put out a poll on YouTube for the next series of characters that you can vote on. Thank you for watching my video. More videos coming soon.